Right now, multiple big storms are forming in the Pacific and they're getting ready to slam into the west coast of the US. This is going to cause even more relentless rainfall, flooding, and widespread damage, especially in California over the next week or so. But this system isn't just going to disappear after it crosses the California state line. These massive storms will ultimately affect everyone's weather in some way, shape, or form. What does that mean for you? Well, more scenes like this are going to be unfortunately likely as this onslaught of unprecedented moisture continues to wreak havoc across the West. But farther east, we could be talking about something more like this or this. The big determining factor here is exactly how strong these storms are when they slam into the West Coast. The more energy they have over here, the more it can spread across the rest of the nation. And remember, this is not just one big storm, there's a train of big storms on the way. Starting this weekend, round one will bring a ton of moisture into the Pacific Northwest. This will likely peak on Sunday as we get ready for round two. And right now, round two looks to be the most significant one for sure. Look at how all this Pacific moisture compiles as the parent low pressure system creates an atmospheric river and dumps it over the state of California. Starting Monday morning and going through Tuesday evening, this is going to cause several problems across the West. Not only do we have to worry about flash flooding and strong wind gusts, but we also have to worry about the very real potential for debris flows. A lot of these areas have suffered from wildfires, and this is the perfect recipe for some serious, fast-moving compilations of debris that can tear through anything in their paths. And up in the mountains, instead of copious amounts of rain, we're going to see copious amounts of snow, especially up there in the Sierras where we're actually looking at the threat for avalanches. And this is just through Tuesday. We're not even done. Round three comes in between Thursday and Friday, starting up north near the BC of Canada and working its way south, only to be followed by a weaker round four in Southern California on Saturday the 14th. And yes, there could even be a round five, maybe even a round six. By the time this is all said and done, we will have some places along the Pacific coastline that have received more than 10 inches of rain on top of what they've already got. And then once again, in the mountains, we're talking about several feet of snow. So why is this happening? What's causing all this craziness? You see, essentially, what it all boils down to is the jet stream over the Pacific Ocean is very long and hard right now. Get your head out of the gutter and let's take a look at this graphic. You see, the jet stream winds are blowing much harder than usual, leading to an elongated and straight appearance. This is actually kind of rare, but this pattern is generally considered stable. And usually stability in the atmosphere is a good thing and it doesn't lead to storms. But this straight jet stream won't stay straight for long. The atmosphere will force its chaotic will on the jet stream, and even the smallest disturbance will break it down into several energetic waves. These potent waves will each fuel strong low pressure systems that will parade into the west coast of the US, causing all the problems we just talked about. And in my opinion, at least one of these lows is going to be strong enough to sneak a significant amount of moisture over the mountains and potentially cause a storm on the east coast. You see, usually all this moisture that's slamming into the west coast doesn't make it past the Rocky Mountains, and this is because the Rockies act like a dam in a way. The water vapor from the Pacific hits the mountains, pulls up, and then condenses and falls as rain or snow. So the mountains kind of wring out all the moisture, leaving nothing left for the plains. But sometimes dams break, especially when there's a lot of moisture slamming into the mountains as a result of a really long and hard jet stream. Some residual water vapor that didn't condense as rain can make its way over the mountains. And this is exactly what some of the forecast models are saying is going to happen. Watch how the energy makes it over the Rockies and then meets up with some energy from Canada and the Gulf of Mexico. From here, no one knows what's going to happen. Sorry, typical weatherman moment, I know, but at least I'm honest. Something I am noticing, however, is the very real possibility for a snowstorm on the East Coast. If we do get enough moisture over the mountains, and we do see amplification from a polar system in conjunction with some energy from the Gulf of Mexico, this is kind of a slam dunk East Coast snowstorm setup. Right now, the latest data shows this actually happening. Watch that fusion with the warm Gulf air and the cold disturbance from the north. When that happens, this thing starts producing heavy snow in the Great Lakes region, and the cold front eventually sparks a new low pressure system off the East Coast, and then that starts to progress off to the north and east. This is generally very favorable for a heavy snowstorm along the East Coast. However, this model is having some trouble figuring out how to handle the infusion of cold air. Right now, this isn't showing a blizzard or anything like that, but the pattern has led to them before. So I think this is something really worth watching as we go forward, and we're going to be talking about it a lot over the next week. Even the ensemble models, which are usually really conservative, are starting to show the very real possibility for a storm during the January 13th through 16th timeframe. Despite all of this, I am very very uncertain about what's going to happen with this energy after it gets past the Rocky Mountains. I'm pretty confident that there is going to be a storm, but will it be like what's shown on the GFS, or will it go more north, or will it go more south? Those are things we will figure out as new data pours in. What I know for sure is that in the short term, people along the West Coast need to prepare for these dangerous storms, as there is no uncertainty there. These storms have a lot of fuel ramping them up, so it's important to have a plan in place. I'm telling y'all right now, there's gonna be more flooding, mudslides, and other negative impacts, possibly even worse than what we've already seen so far. But remember, don't be scared, be prepared. As long as you've got a plan for a worst case scenario, I don't care how much fuel these storms have, you're gonna be just fine. And speaking of fuel, have you ever wanted to taste storm fuel, or more specifically, tornado fuel? Well, obviously you can't really do that, but you can come close, because I've been working on something really cool called Nader beans. It's authentic Colombian coffee beans roasted by passionate professionals right here in the US. Not only does it ramp your ride up like a 70-knot 850 millibar jet stream, but it can directly support the channel by providing funding for me to expand my team. It'll also help disaster victims like we've been doing for past tornadoes, floods, and hurricanes. It's an extremely good purchase. And since you watched this video all the way to the end, I'm gonna give you a secret promo code. It's called Beans Please. Using this code on the website will get you 10% off Nader beans if you use it before January 11th. Again, it would mean so much to me if you guys went and checked this out. It's on my website, shopryanhall.com, or you can just click the link in the description. Thank you so much. A huge shout out to all of our members over here. Thank you guys so much for being such a huge part of the channel. If you don't follow me on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, please do so, okay? I don't post daily here on YouTube yet. It's something that we're trying to work to, but I do post pretty often on those platforms, little short form updates if you want my new thoughts on the next weather system in like a really short form intermittently as we lead up to the next video. Those platforms are a great place to follow me, and my name on everything is Ryan Hall, y'all, even TikTok, okay? So make sure you guys follow me everywhere, and we'll keep the conversation going, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye. Ooh.